Which Marvel characters will die in Phase 5? Welcome back to Nerdist News. I'm Dan Casey, and today we're going to look into the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe to see who's most likely to shuffle off this mortal coil. Now, death is no stranger to the MCU, having claimed major characters like Iron Man, Quicksilver, and half of all sentient life in the universe. And yes, that last group eventually got better, but with Kang the Conqueror waiting to unleash havoc across the multiverse, you can bet your bottom dollar we're going to see some major character deaths in Marvel's Phase 5. After all, things are going to have to get pretty desperate before we get to the event of Phase 6's Avengers the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. And while this is pure speculation for the time being, if we wind up being right about these, they could be considered spoilers. So, if you want to not meddle with the future and don't want to know what might be coming down the pipeline, leave now before it's too late.
Ooh, a swing and a miss.
Okay, let's get into it, shall we? Rocket Raccoon. First on our list is Rocket Raccoon, the saddest little trash panda in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the morose first trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, we saw a look at Rocket's tragic past, a reunion with his significant otter Lila, and plenty of hints that one or more major characters will die, and not just from a dodgeball to the head. But honestly, folks, we don't need hints because James Gunn has confirmed this movie will feature a major death. Guardians Volume 3 seems poised to conclude Rocket's story by giving us insight into his tragic origins as one of the High Evolutionary's animal experiments. As Rocket himself said in the trailer, he's done running. That's something he's done for most of his life. While Rocket's heavily foreshadowed death could be a red herring, sacrificing himself for his found family may wind up giving this weapon-loving wastrel the closure he's been so desperately seeking.
We're all gonna die.
Drax the Destroyer. Next on our list is everybody's favorite invisible Zargnut addict, Drax. Actor Dave Bautista has been particularly vocal about how Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be his last hurrah in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's entirely possible Drax could just ride off into the sunset and live out his remaining days in peace, but the trailer seems to imply otherwise. Amid the shots of Star-Lord and Mantis clearly weeping, we can see a heavily wounded Drax being helped out of the High Evolutionary's gross space station. Whether to preserve Dave Bautista's sanity about sitting in the makeup chair for hours on end each day, or just to underscore how dangerous the Guardians' work really is, Drax seems destined to die in Phase 5.
I have famously huge turds.
We're about to die, and this is what we're discussing?
Hank Pym. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania will formally introduce us to the deadliest man in all of the multiverse, Kang the Conqueror. That's the whole point of our Kang watch. And with the Pym family now trapped in the quantum realm once more in Quantumania, and Janet clearly terrified of Kang from her time there, it's easy to imagine a world in which Kang kills Hank to prove just how deadly serious he is to the rest of the family. After all, Kang only needs one Ant-Man's cooperation to get what he really wants, and it's not Hank Pym. Now, maybe the Ant-Man that Kang killed before was another version of Hank Pym, and he's a real stickler for consistency. Only time will tell, but it's really not looking too good for old Hank right about now.
No way.
But what if Kang the Conqueror kills more than one Ant-Man in this movie? That's right, folks, next on our list is Scott Lang. I know, killing Ant-Man in his own film seems like kind of a dick move, but it would immediately establish just how terrifying a villain Kang the Conqueror really is. And it would be a horrifying inversion of Endgame where Scott was the only one of this crew to survive the snapshot. Now, speaking with Entertainment Weekly, director Peyton Reed hinted this will be a much more dramatic affair than previous Ant-Man films. For this third one, I said, I don't want to be the palate cleanser anymore, I want to be the big Avengers movie. And it's hard to think of a more dramatic way to close out a trilogy, establish the new series-wide villain as a major threat, and give characters like Hope and Cassie an axe to grind moving forward than by including a genuinely shocking death like Scott Lang's.
Hey, how about the fact that I fought an Avenger and didn't die?
Let's not dwell on the past.
Of course, it's important to bear in mind that even if Scott Lang does die in this movie, he will return in a resurrected or variant form in Avengers Secret Wars. He'll appear in like the far-off land of Pennsylvania or something weird like that. Because as we all know, you're never really dead in the Marvel Universe, unless your name is Uncle Ben.
Thank you, Spider-Man!
Nick Fury. Moving on to Secret Invasion, we see that Nick Fury is back from vacation and ready to kick some shape-shifting Skrull ass. And while we've seen Nick Fury dealing with the likes of Hydra infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D., Mad Gods threatening New York City, and desperately trying to work a pager 2 decades after he last used one, Secret Invasion shows us a Nick Fury unlike anything we've seen before. The MCU's resident spy master seems to know that stopping these rogue Skrulls will ultimately kill him, but considering just how many times he saved the world at this point, it's a sacrifice he's more than willing to make. And it would be a fitting farewell for someone who, alongside Phil Coulson, served as the thread that wove these disparate parts of Marvel's Phase 1 together before culminating in the original Avengers. With what feels like a universe-wide reboot coming after Secret Wars, Secret Invasion could be Nick Fury's swan song in more ways than one.
About damn time.
Talos. While some hardline Kree propagandists out there would have you believe the only good Skrull is a dead Skrull, the Skrulls in the MCU were by and large much nicer than their comic book counterparts. And Talos is a shining example of this, having helped save the world on multiple occasions. He even filled in for Nick Fury while his pal was on an off-world vacation sipping Mai Tais in deep space. With Secret Invasion sowing discord and distrust among the denizens of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and with Talos maybe having more insight into this invasion than regular-ass humans might, it's easy to imagine Ben Mendelsohn's character meeting a gruesome end at some point during this upcoming thriller series later this year.
Hang on a second. Before you go swinging those jazz hands around.
Bucky Barnes. Next up, we come to what could rival Scott Lang for maybe the most shocking entry on this list. Bucky Barnes has had a nice long run in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, dating all the way back to 2011's Captain America: The First Avenger. We've seen Bucky go from soldier in Winter to Winter Soldier, from Hydra weapon to Earth's mightiest hero. And while Bucky's been trying to make amends for his past misdeeds, his next role as the centerpiece of a government-sponsored super team comprised mostly of criminals, assassins, and mercenaries, probably not earning him a whole lot of karma. And although Bucky is undeniably heroic, we could definitely see him making the ultimate sacrifice this time around to save his friends and allies. That is, assuming Rocket winds up returning his Christmas present in time. And last but not least, we come to what I think is the silliest entry on this list: most of the other Thunderbolts. While this movie will inevitably draw comparisons to the Suicide Squad, it's hard not to. I mean, most of its members are pretty expendable. The team is likely going to be put together by Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine and General Thunderbolt Ross, hence their name. They're going to be a government-controlled supergroup they can send in to deal with superhuman threats that normal soldiers simply can't handle. And considering the rumors that the film's antagonist could be Sentry, who's basically Marvel's answer to Superman, it's easy to imagine characters like Taskmaster, Ghost, and US Agent all dying in the course of battle against this all-powerful foe. As for characters like Yelena Belova, I think she might be safe because the world needs her to reunite with Kate Bishop before anything bad happens to her.
Hi.
Red Guardian? Well, he's a bigger question mark, but David Harbour's Soviet super soldier brings some delightful comic relief to the party as well.
It still fits.
Anyway, folks, there you have it. Those are our predictions for who will die in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Phase 5. We'll find out just how accurate we are soon enough when Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania hits theaters on February 17th. In the meantime, though, tell us, what do you think of our list? Who do you think will die in Phase 5?
We're all gonna die.
Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, make sure you stay tuned to Nerdist.com.